What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Off the Top Rope, Off the Mic Sports Network. Um, I did a video um, on Thursday in regards to the ratings in AEW actually gaining about 100,000 viewers, but still losing to NXT in the ratings. And I was thinking about this, and a couple people pointed this out on social media. AEW gained a really large number of people when really nothing significantly was going on. I mean, yes, a lot of people pointed to MJF being in the main event of the show, coming off obviously being in the most watched movie in the world in Happy Gilmore 2 on Netflix. So that's a little bit of a draw. You're coming off of a world championship match. Okay. But what other people pointed out, and I found this really interesting, especially what's going on in the pro wrestling sphere with WWE getting, in some people's eyes, some negative PR. You know, bringing back Brock Lesnar. Say what you will, there are people who are not happy with that. And then obviously, you know, the upcharge that's going to happen starting next year on premium live events, where, hey, depending on how you look at it, WWE is going to charge you more money and TKO, they're going to charge you more money to go watch premium live events. And then obviously, if you want to go in attendance, you have to pay an arm and a leg to go see those things. So things have been shifting a little bit. And also, as I pointed out, creative in WWE has not been what it used to be. Like, pro wrestling in 2025 is not good at all. But it leads me to my point. Part of the reason, and some people pointed this out on social media, part of the reason why I think AEW got an uptick in ratings is because people wanted to see what's going on in AEW, because they're genuinely not happy with the current state of the WWE product. This is why AEW got hot in 2019, 2020, and they were drawing in numbers. And obviously in 2021, when, you know, CM Punk and Bryan Danielson went over there, like they got a surge behind it because there was a genuine disinterest in the WWE product. I don't think it's nearly at the level that it was then, because Vince McMahon was running things, and Vince McMahon didn't know his elbow from his ass. He didn't know what the fuck he was doing. He was winging it and doing rewrites throughout the show. That being said, there is an opportunity here for AEW to get some momentum, that they keep saying that they will get that momentum. And Tony Khan keeps patting himself on the back for the most minor bits of triumph. But there's a chance to actually get some momentum. And it's going to be really interesting for me to see what the rating is next week for Dynamite. Because if you ask me, if I'm a casual fan who wants to go see the new thing out, and you're watching the product that is WWE, which, you know, a little bit more livelier, the crowds are bigger, you know, that's the first thing that'll jump out to you, and the characters are fine. But, you know, AEW, they've got some big names on their roster. They do. But what I'm going to be interested to see is if they can stay above 700,000. Because if they can hold some of the audience that they brought in through that extra overrun, you know, the MJF stuff and the hook off of that conclusion to the show. And, you know, Mercedes Moné was on the show. Maybe she is somewhat of a draw. Maybe she isn't. I don't know. You know, can they hold the momentum? To me, it wasn't a great show. It was a good show for the sickos, but it was not a good show for the average viewers if you're trying to grow the business. And this is what I keep talking about when it comes to AEW. With all the bad press that WWE is currently getting right now, whether it be, because like I said, maybe it's not as big as, you know, what it was a few years ago, but there's if you look at social media, and I don't know how much social media is an accurate representation of the fan base, but there is some people that are not happy with some of the decision making from WWE, whether it be upcharging on watching premium live events, or charging ticket prices for events, or, you know, Triple H hanging out with Donald Trump at the White House, or whatever, or bringing back Brock Lesnar. Whatever the reason may be, there is a lot of other alternatives in wrestling. This is why this is why AEW came into existence in the first place. Because WWE was so fucking terrible back in 2017, 2018, that the Young Bucks, like Dave Meltzer, like challenged the elite, Young Bucks, Cody and you know, Kenny Omega. Hey, You guys can't go fill up the Sears Center or, the Now Arena or whatever it was called then, with 10,000 people. And they did it on a dare, and it led to All Elite Wrestling being funded by Tony Khan. And here we are. So we're basically back to where we were all those years ago. Creative was much worse back in 2018, 2019 when AEW started, developing and launching. But there's a real opportunity here if Tony Khan really wants to, make a push here. There really is. But based off of what I saw on Wednesday, and yeah, great that they got that number. They still lost to the developmental thing, but it's progress. It's absolutely progress that AEW could potentially try to sustain this momentum, but they've got to stop booking to the sickos. I understand it's an alternative, but you see the same opportunity that you had 5-6 years ago when there was genuine disinterest in the WWE product. WWE's creative is not great this year. The John Cena heel turn was a failure. They did not pay off a big moment. They have not paid off a lot of big moments. And the wrestling, like, listen, there's talented wrestlers in WWE, but the strong place in AEW is obviously they're going to have the edge in wrestling because of the ability that they have. But they have too many of the same people. They do too many of these false finishes and these Canadian destroyers and all this other stuff. And there's no interesting characters, and the roster being depleted because of all the people going through this work rate style. They've got to consider booking different shows and trying to create captivating television. And the problem is, I don't think AEW is willing to or wants to do that. I think they're perfectly content being what they are. That being said, if they want to and they really care, and maybe you want to send a shock to the system again, and maybe this could be good for all wrestling. Because if AEW is operating at its best and then it forces WWE to up their game, then we're going to have a much better product across all of pro wrestling. And to me, as a content creator, as a guy doing this and talking to you, I'd much rather be in a situation like that than be yelling and screaming and talking about all the shit that I fucking hate about both these places right now. WWE is honestly as weak as it's been under Triple H, despite making as much money as they do. And all you people in the chat who want, or in the comments who want to tell me, it doesn't matter, they're making money. Listen, this is the same thing that was going on. Like they were making a ton of money off of the Saudi money and all this other shit back in 2018. They lost a ton of people to AEW. It's formed the sicko fan base. And a lot of those people have stayed loyal to Tony Khan, which is fine. But if you mean to tell me that, and especially with what I hear on social media from all these AEW people saying, oh man, thank God that AEW exists. It's like, well, okay, try to get more people to stay with your product. And the problem is the casuals aren't going to care for what's going on AEW television right now because it's no better than what's going on in WWE. Yeah, you got a better wrestling product, but there's no stories there. And a lot of the key storylines that you've had, I mean, outside of the Hangman storyline, really haven't been paid off. The Hangman storyline got paid off with the Moxley thing. Great. And now what's it leading to? You're leading into a Forbidden Door show with no Forbidden Door matches. Women's division's depleted. It's like, listen, if Tony Khan wanted to, he could potentially have a chance to send some momentum. I don't think they're ever going to reach the level that they did back in 2021. I think that ship has sailed. But there's a chance to, change the narrative in professional wrestling. And maybe healthy competition, even though they want to portray this as some type of a war, healthy competition could be good for both products. And this could lead to better television. I'm just not sure which shoe's going to drop first or if any of these companies are going to care. Because like I said, pro wrestling in 2025 is not good right now. But I'm throwing the challenge out to you, AEW fans. I mean, I know Tony Khan probably won't even watch this. Do better. Take the challenge on and get momentum going. Because really what you've done in the last 4 or so weeks since All in Texas is squandered the momentum. But WWE squandered some of their momentum too. And they're starting to alienate some of their fans. So why can't you bring those fans in? It's going to be very, very interesting to me to see what that rating is coming off of this coming week's Dynamite. This coming week. Be very, very interesting. Because if they do, hey, that shows that you at least caught some of those people, those extra people that tuned in, whether it was for the MJF tie-in or if it was because there were some WWE people who were disillusioned and have felt like they've been wronged by the current WWE product. We'll see. It's going to be very interesting to watch. I'll see you guys soon. Bye-bye.